Good afternoon, van fans. I'm a little behind on getting some videos uploaded to YouTube, so I wanted to just update you on what's going on. Got a lot of work done. This video is going to be about actually what was the first cabinetry project that I started on for this fan, and it was definitely a learning process and made quite a few mistakes, but eventually I got the finished product looking pretty good. I call it the utility cabinet. So I'll stop talking and we'll just go straight into the video about it. You'll see some pictures of the process along the way, and then I'll give a final tour of the finished product. I decided I would go ahead and get started on the first cabinet since I've spent hours planning it and drawing it out over and over again. Finally was able to create a cut list. One thing that concerned me was I don't have a table saw, really don't have anywhere to keep one, so I'm gonna have to try to do these cuts as straight as possible using the circular saw. And I've been practicing on scraps and building things, as you probably know, and I have to say this one came out, according to my measurements, perfect. We'll see once we get all the pieces together and try to square them up just how far off we are. But now I have to attack this thing with the jigsaw in this corner here. I made a template that took inside the van. Because of the curve at the roof, the back of the cabinet's going to have to be curved, which that's not a problem. I'll just put a false back in the very back of the top section. It'll only affect the top 8 inches or so of the cabinet, and so that's not going to be an issue. So here goes. This is very stressful. Okay, what you see piled up on top of the table there is all the pieces I need for the first cabinet. I call it the utility cabinet because it's going to hold the propane tank storage area and also the electrical system, and then there'll just be some general storage in the top smaller opening. So the easy part was cutting the wood. Well, I'll say it was easy. Doing it with a circular saw, it's kind of tricky, but I perfected my technique and using a fence and measuring everything 3 or 4 times before I even apply the fence, and then making sure the fence is lined up, and then making sure the saw is lined up, and I'm making allowance for the width of the blade. I ended up making some look like very precise cuts, so we'll see once I try to get it together and square it up. But that's going to be the hard part, because this is a pretty complex cabinet. It's not just a regular rectangle straight up and down, and it involves different layers, and one side is going to open to the left while the rest of it opens to the front. So I probably made it a lot harder than I should have, and there's probably going to be a lot of frustration trying to put this thing together, but I'm going to give it my best shot. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Well, the cabinet has been all put together and primed. I got the doors cut out, and that's going to be the fold out table extension that will be attached here. And I got this piece cut out that goes in the floor, and I cut out a hole to help to hold the propane tank tightly. Of course, it'll be strapped in also. And I'm just starting now to apply some paint. I'm doing the interior. This is called Thin Ice. It's a very light gray. I'm doing the interior of the cabinets with that color. so that it'll be good visibility on the inside and also offer a little contrast. The outside of the cabinet's going to be black. And then the doors, they're going to be black also. No, they're going to be gray. And that'll offer a nice contrast between the inside and the black trim on the outside, and the latches that go on there are black. So I think it's going to look good, but a lot of painting to do. Okay, van fans, I promised you a little tour when I got to the campground after I've got the utility cabinet installed. You've already seen the kitchen, and they fit nice and snugly together there. Up at the top, I've got a storage cabinet that's just for holding stuff. I just got some things crammed in there right now. And below it, this is where the power system goes. I've got to work on sanding down these tight corners there so that'll open a little easier, but that's where all the electrical system will be in. This hole here, there's a switch plate that will be mounted on the outside there to turn power on to the lights and the water pump and a couple other things. And this is where there'll be a kill switch to turn all the power off. You can see I've got a power cord routed through there right now that's plugged into this power strip that has 4 plugs and a couple of USBs, and that goes into the side of the van and comes out to the extension cord port that I installed. You've probably already seen that. And what we have here, I put this latch on so I can open that, push this, creates a leg, so we have a fold down table at the end of the van, and there's the propane tank inside. I've got this little extra ring here to keep it from sliding around. Got a splitter on there, got one regulator going to a heater I'll show you, and then this one will be for what I have here. This is where the hot water heater will be mounted semi-permanently like I did with the heater. And the hose just connects right straight up to there whenever this is all closed. So let's walk around this side. You can see now I've got the heater mounted, and hose, everything just routes. So I got all this empty area back here that I'll be using for the wiring access, and the access to plumbing, and access to the propane right here. I'm actually gonna make this longer. Got a little extension table for the kitchenette, so I'll have some shelf space whenever I'm doing something in the van. It's hard to do with one hand, but that just pops into place in this tray here. There we go. See, I'm gonna have a leg mounted to it, but I'm gonna extend it about out to here, give me a little more space, and the leg will support the weight. The perfect height whenever I cut it, so that it'll store right behind here, so I can make it that much longer. So that's what's going on with that. We'll talk about the bed in another video.